Hey there, fellow wanderers. Tonight we embark on an epic journey with the Pilgrims, stepping into the pages of history to discover how they endured the trials of impossibly long voyages. Picture yourself packing your few belongings into a modest trunk. The docks bustle, the sea breeze smells of salt and seaweed, barrels roll, banners snap in the wind, a ship creaks with anticipation. New world waits just beyond the horizon. But a little voice inside whispers, "You probably won't survive this. This isn't a romantic portrait. This is history. And only the brave or the desperate dared to sail." If stories like these speak to you, like this video, subscribe, and comment your location and time. I'd love to know where you're joining from. Dim the lights. Let the fan hum like distant wind through rigging. Let's begin. Now, dim the lights. Maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum. And let's ease into tonight's journey together. As the ship sets sail, the land slowly shrinks to a distant blur, enveloped by the horizon's embrace. You're formally adrift now, transitioning into the rigorous rhythms of life at sea. A ship isn't merely a vessel for travel. It's an entire ecosystem that will become your floating world over the coming months, brimming with its own kind of life, challenges, and strange amusements. The ocean stretches out like an infinite, undulating blanket, and soon you'll find yourself thoroughly enveloped in its endless ebb and flow. Between jaw-clenching storms and pockets of surreal calm, there's something almost meditative about the voyage itself. You may find that monotony is both a friend and foe, varying as swiftly as the tides. While sea captains appear larger than life, they're backed by a robust crew who are as much warriors of the waves as you are. Among them, however, a famous character doesn't stand as tall as the rest. Insert a mental image of a scruffy cat working as the ship's unofficial mascot, deftly trotting past your feet to chase errant rats. Humble sea travel fancy that the ship cats brought a measure of luck and prosperity, or at least kept the rodents from devouring your hardtack. Historians still argue whether this feline folklore held true, or if it was purely practical. Marvel at the looming masts that sway like giants dancing under the heavens, with endless coils of rope slithering in every direction. As a pilgrim, your life becomes tightly interwoven with those of your fellow travellers, pressing together in an uncomfortably intimate dance at the heart of the voyage. Social norms and personal space submerge below deck, trading refinement for endurance games as you weave your way through the mixed tapestry of personalities. It's a life of shared camaraderie, but also subtle tension. The inevitable side effect of living in close quarters, where privacy is rare and gossip spreads faster than the flu. People from various backgrounds, beliefs, and tempers cram themselves into the ship's cramped belly, coexisting and colliding in equal measure. Prepare to witness the astonishing adaptability of humanity in response to claustrophobia and cabin fever. In such tight quarters, any small kindness becomes amplified, as does any slight. As the ship dips and rattles across the expanse, ponder over historic navigational methods that might make modern navigators quake. Primitive compasses and crude maps charted the course long before GPS. The sun and stars dance as celestial guides, casting down their timeless spells of direction. You trust them in maneuvers that sometimes seem more mystical than mechanical, aligning yourselves with cosmic whims. Reflect on how embarking on this voyage emulates stepping into an unknown frontier, where the scale of risk often screams louder than reason. But remember, despite the ocean's fearsome face, it carries tales of courage, unrivaled resilience, and the quiet strength within those who sought out new beginnings amidst so much uncertainty. As the coastline dwindles into a sliver of memory, and the vast ocean dwarfs all sense of direction, hold faith in the faint line of the horizon where dreams dare to collide with the reality of relentless adventure. Pulling up anchor, you are now truly away to the new world, where every horizon holds its own mystique and every wave a story, even if it's one you've already heard thrice by nightfall. As the ship glides upon the foreboding sea, transform your expectations, readying your mind to defy the hardships ahead. Just remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint, and with any luck, you might just find a new home on the other side. End of script. Sweet dreams. As the rhythmic rocking of the ship becomes your new normal, the relentless journey across the open sea continues. Your chest tightens with a mix of anticipation and anxiety but you settle into the routine with a determination that will carry you forward. The Pilgrims had little choice but to place unfaltering faith in their sea captains, men who had spent their lives under the harsh tutelage of the waves. They wielded old maps and peered through rudimentary spyglasses, relying heavily on the whims of the winds to guide their voyage. You find yourself adjusting to the ship's constant motion, becoming oddly familiar with the way it pitches and rolls beneath your feet. The unpredictable waves are a reminder of the ocean's ceaseless power, each swell a whispered promise of uncontrollable adventure or utter peril. The North Atlantic presents its own set of challenges and fears, with weather patterns that change faster than you can say land ho. Deep down within the ship's bellies, the Pilgrims prayed for fair winds, while the crew hunched over charts marked with ponderous lines and fantastical sea monsters lurking in the inky depths. Though the vast sea renders you feeling isolated and adrift, it also gifts you a strange sense of unity with your fellow travellers, pooling everyone's fate into a collective hope. The wind howls its ghostly tunes, filling the air with an eerie harmony that speaks of ancient mysteries and distant lands. The constant salt spray becomes both a calming companion and a persistent nuisance, coating your skin with crystalline grit. The occasional sighting of sea life lends a degree of excitement or caution, depending on the creature. Did you spot the tail of that ghostly leviathan, or was it just the ocean playing tricks again? Whales breach and billow like giants, mighty harbingers of hope or foreboding, while the fin of a distant shark sends a shiver down your spine, thoughtful of the vastness of the world beneath you where sailors dared not dwell. Historians still argue whether sharks truly followed ships for their scraps, or if they were merely curious, assuredly mutters an experienced sailor with a knowing grin. In the evenings, when the sun falls low and casts long shadows across the deck, you gather with others under the dwindling light. Together, you exchange stories, punctuated by the roar of the waves, each anecdote another stitch in the tapestry of your shared journey. Laughter mingles with the wind, weaving a transient village out of seafarers, all transient souls, bound by a common destination. Yet smooth sailing was often but a fleeting thrill. A sudden squall could roll over the sea without warning, transforming the amiable waves into an unruly beast. As the clouds thicken and the wind's howl intensifies, the crew springs into action, tying down loose barrels, securing sails, and making sure every hatch is fastened. Your heart pounds in time with the blustering storm outside, a stark reminder of how small and fragile you are amidst nature's awe-inspiring power. The ship groans like an ancient entity of wood and iron, rising and falling, sometimes steeply, as if bowing to the relentless elements. Despite these moments of chaos, the mere act of surviving each storm strengthens your resolve. With every pass, you learn to respect and endure the rhythm of this watery wilderness. You no longer tremble at the threatening clouds, not as much anyway, and your grip steadies during the pitch of the ship. As the storm's fury subsides, the world seems impossibly quiet, the ocean stretching out as if in apology for its recent uproar. In these quieter moments, you allow yourself to appreciate the subtle beauty of the endless sea. The sight of dawn breaking across the boundless horizon is a masterpiece painted in shades of gold and scarlet, an ethereal promise of renewal and possibility. Of course, there are moments when the ocean seems to be a rather dull, monotonous expanse, a never-ending stage withholding its final act. You stifle a yawn while casting another look towards the seemingly unchanging horizon. It's easy, in the repetition of days, to forget the dynamic multitude of the environments surrounding you, with its twinkling waves that vanish as night blankets the world in velvety dark. But as the stars emerge, something akin to magic happens. They crowd around the night sky, creating a celestial map for measured navigation and uncontrolled dreaming alike. So here you are, woven into the ocean's song, where every day feels like both a triumph and a trial, a journey into the imagination as much as reality. Yet with every wave conquered and every gust of wind captured, the vessel strides resolutely toward a land imagination unknown. But you press on, driven by the notion that each of those fluid horizon lines contains within it, eternally reborn, the future's vast promise, shimmering with dreams and hopes as boundless as the ocean's reach. As your days stretch into weeks on the swelling deck, food occupies an increasingly central role in your thoughts, a necessity both practical and psychological. The challenge of preserving provisions without the luxury of refrigeration demands ingenuity. You're not just on a journey to a new world, but embarking on a culinary odyssey that tests creativity beyond measure. Every meal is a testament to both resourcefulness and tenacity. Hardtack, a staple born out of practicality, often becomes the subject of loving complaints and wistful fantasies. This brick-like biscuit, crafted from flour, water and salt, is designed to last the length of the voyage and then some. It seemingly outstays its welcome, yet never becomes truly unwelcome. You grow adept at finding ways to make it palatable, soaking and softening it, or, as some jest, merely staring at it until it concedes defeat and becomes chewable. It's fascinating how this dry and unyielding cracker transforms into something almost comforting over time. You imagine future historians uncovering a piece of hardtack and debating whether it served more as a source of nutrition or as an example of early food engineering. They might even wonder aloud, historians still argue if these biscuits were more resilient than the wooden decks beneath them. Surrounding your hardtack is an array of salted meats, carefully preserved to withstand the lashing saltwater air. This cured flesh, be it pork or beef, sustains you but also challenges your culinary imagination. You develop a keen sense of the difference between chewiness and texture, learning that subtlety isn't always a hallmark of flavour on board. Amidst the mundane palate, the occasional appearance of citrus fruits provides a delightful burst of flavour and a crucial defence against scurvy, an ever-present threat to long voyages. Rich in vitamin C, sailors quickly learned that these fruits were more valuable than gold, combating the threat of bleeding gums and lethargy far better than any crude medicine. The bright tang of an orange or lemon is enough to spark the imagination and momentarily transport you back to the lush orchards where these lifesavers were plucked. Alongside these staples, the occasional provisioning stop, both anticipated and unremarkable, holds the promise of fresh fare. Imagine docking at a friendly port and the frenzy that ensues as crewmen scramble to acquire fresh fish or vegetables. The aromas of these new ingredients mingle deliriously with the salt of the sea, and, for a time, mealtimes are transformed into small celebrations, breaking the monotony with tantalizing variety. Stored ale, though not particularly flavorful, becomes a safer alternative to the often brackish water. This earthy, fermented liquid might provide some small comfort amidst the routine of the waves and adds a hint of joviality to the steady hum of ship life. Collectively, you find solace in these minor pleasures, each sip a reminder of the community present around you. Despite scarcity, meals play a vital role beyond simple sustenance. They become the connective tissue of life on board, moments where disparate individuals bond over the shared challenge of keeping spirits buoyant and bellies filled. Around cramped tables, fellow travellers swap stories and dreams as freely as they do morsels from their plates. Amusing tales of meals lost to rogue waves or overzealous seagulls pepper your days, turning the minor tragedy of a missing loaf into a comedic episode retold time and again. Remember that one seagull who decided to join supper without an invitation? Becomes a line that sparks chuckles and rekindles memories of solidarity against the mischievous forces of nature. The diet might lack variety, but there's a sense of pride in finding security in these routine acts of consumption and community. There's a mutual understanding that, despite the monotony and restraint, you're being prepared for the abundance and unpredictability of a land unknown. As hunger becomes a constant companion, so does the soft rumble of anticipation. You find yourself dreaming of robust grains, velvety fruits, and vegetables bursting with colour and life, an elusive mirage that drives you onward, fueled by visions as vast as the sea before you. With every bite, whether of fresh fish snatched from the ocean or monotonous hardtack, you shape a narrative of survival. Meals become more than just sustenance. They're symbols of hope and resilience aboard a vessel of dreams. From this foundation, a new life will arise, a testament to perseverance and shared humanity, no matter the sea's wrath or buffet's simplicity. This grand maritime feast of hard-earned lessons, both literal and metaphorical, is one that propels you to land's embrace, where every horizon holds the promise of a hearty tomorrow. As the journey across the ocean unfolds, the spectre of illness and disease begins to cast its shadow. It's a constant whisper among the passengers, a siren call of dread that loops through the cramped quarters. This voyage is not merely a testament to endurance, but a test of health and resilience. The murmurs of potential threats echo off the wooden beams, bouncing between the makeshift hammocks and stretching out the long night. In such close quarters, the threat of disease looms large, and with conditions ripe for the spread of illness, keeping well is no small feat. The stagnant air below deck could turn any small cough into a cacophony of concern. You find yourself becoming a sort of self-appointed guardian, closely monitoring the health of your fellow passengers as diligently as your own. With no immediate recourse to a doctor or hospital, health crises often turned into tests of survival prowess. Conditions forged unlikely heroes, those who knew the old ways of herbs and roots. Though medical knowledge was rudimentary, some remedies borrowed from European herbalism offered a measure of comfort. A brew of chamomile or peppermint might ease an upset stomach, while garlic served as a ward against many ailments. The aroma of these brewed concoctions seeped into the ship's fabric, intertwining with the salt of the sea air and forming a comforting tapestry of everyday resilience. Yet not all remedies were beneficial. Some puzzling practices, like the belief that slapping cured meats on an ailing person could draw out disease, speak to a time when mythology and medicine were closely intertwined. Occasionally, a particularly desperate pilgrim recounts tales of having worn garlic necklaces and whispered to the winds, hoping to ward off sickness. The sincerity behind these actions is a poignant reminder of the power of belief and hope, no matter how quixotic they might seem to modern eyes. Despite best efforts, illnesses like scurvy, dysentery, and various fevers held a menacing grip on seafarers. Scurvy, the result of vitamin C deficiency, could transform plucky adventurers into lethargic shells, if not caught early by the citrus fruits provisioned at port. Dysentery and fevers could spread through the close-knit community like wildfire, turning coughing fits into shared concerns. And as the ship continued to carve its path across the waters, a simple sneeze might cause heads to turn in silent fear. It wasn't all certainty and inevitability, though. Where illness existed, so too did resilience, the human spirit's unwavering will to forge onward. This determination threaded its way through the hearts of those aboard, weaving a tapestry of quiet defiance against the threats that lurked in the shadows. Historians still argue about the exact extent of most illnesses aboard ships, given the inconsistent records of the time. But what remains clear even today is the remarkable resilience those travellers showed against such overwhelming odds. Each sneaky cough and every fevered night became part of the larger narrative, a delicate dance of perseverance punctuated by the ebb and flow of hope and uncertainty. During moments of health, passengers snatched at reprieves, savouring the simplest acts of wellness, a shared story, a laugh around the mess tables, or an oft-absent breath of fresh air. Each effort to reach out and lift spirits was a step away from the anxious whispers of sickness, a vital gesture of humanity that defied the strain of isolation. As the ship sails forward, slicing through the blues of the fickle Atlantic, the spirit aboard it demonstrates the relentless nature of hope, how it persists in the face of looming illness or potential disaster, entwined forever with the dream of a new life. You fortify your own resolve by tending to the sick, leaning on your companions and savouring each small victory along the way. Together you continue the journey, supported by shared experiences and mutual care. These daily acts, however small, act as an unspoken affirmation that, no matter how difficult the journey or inhospitable the conditions, the human spirit remains indefatigable. And as the ship gracefully cuts its path through the water, the subtle equilibrium between fear and hope, sickness and health, highlights not just survival, but an unwavering commitment to reach the uncharted shores of dreams yet unfulfilled. As you navigate the choppy waters of the Atlantic, a different kind of journey unfolds below decks. A voyage through the intricate tapestry of social dynamics aboard the ship. In this microcosm of society, roles and relationships intertwine, forming bonds that both uplift and smother, as people find their place amid the swirling currents of daily life at sea. The ship is more than just a vessel. It's a floating community where personal space is a rarity and privacy scarce, leading to an evolving code of etiquette that dictates interactions. Imagine, if you will, a lively village cooped up within wooden walls, where characters from varying backgrounds and stations in life converge. It's a delicate dance, manoeuvring through the web of close-connect humanity, where whispered secrets and shared duties bind this seafaring tribe as tightly as any anchored tradition back home. In this environment, the rigid social hierarchies of the old world inevitably relax, though remnants remain. The crew operates as the ship's backbone, a disciplined cohort dedicated to ensuring the course stays true and the ship remains seaworthy. The sailors, these guardians of the sea, navigate as much through the human tides as they do the oceanic swells, their leadership dictating the rhythm of the voyage. Among the passengers, a blend of backgrounds creates an eclectic mix. Imagine priests, artisans, farmers, traders, each with a story that colours the ship's narrative. Beneath the ship's beams dwells a symphony of voices, telling tales of lands left behind and dreams unrealised. Amidst these differing voices, certain figures emerge as informal leaders. Character often overrides class, as individuals naturally step into roles of influence based on charisma, knowledge, or simply the ability to soothe a seasick friend. The old woman with stories for every plight, the young lad whose bravery belies his years. These human anchors provide stability in the chaos of cabin living. It's an atmosphere ripe for camaraderie, but also tension. Cabin fever can ferment tempers quicker than a storm can roil the seas. Patience strains like the ship's rigging in a gust. Irritation flares and subsides like passing squalls. A jest at the wrong moment might transform a mess hall into a quarrelsome arena. It's the salt air, some might grumble, shaking their heads at the sudden shift in mood. These pressure points are balanced by gatherings of fellowship, finding solace in shared music, conversation, or makeshift games. A raucous chorus might break the spell of tension, sparking a sense of belonging among folks who weeks before were strangers bound only by ambition and salt water. Remember the girl with the hand-me-down violin, plucking strains of a familiar tune? Her song becomes a gentle torrent, washing over weary spirits. Shared meals serve as checkpoints in the day, moments for both dispute and reconciliation, a slowed procession where conflicts can thaw over the warmth of communal food. Here, alliances are formed, grievances aired, and reconciliations achieved amid the steady rocking of the boat. The shared table transforms into a meeting ground that dissolves divides, reminding everyone of their shared precarious journey. Yet, alongside harmony, the ever-present spectre of loneliness. The expanses of water outside mirror the emotional distances passengers sometimes feel inside themselves. A hidden heartache or private sorrow may swell unspoken, as eternal as the unending sea, nudging some into solitary reflections, while the world continues in voices and laughter around them. Belonging within this finite world requires resilience, a balance of accommodation and assertion in equal measure. You too adapt, finding your place within this shifting social tapestry. You speak, listen, concede, and learn the nuances of coexistence in a floating village where roles are played out against the timeless backdrop of the sea. Aboard this seafaring community, you experience a microcosmic reflection of human society, a fluid, dynamic interplay of individuals bound by necessity, resilience, and the shared dream of reaching a new world. The trials and triumphs of these interactions craft a vessel not just traversing physical space, but also charting the courageous voyage of human connection. Even amid the divisions and disputes, there lies an undeniable truth. Your collective strength, as intertwined as the rigging above, is what will ultimately guide you toward the promising horizon. Here, amidst the swirling Atlantic, you and your shipmates forge more than just survival. You craft a story of community and companionship, which sails ever forward with the tides of change. As another day passes aboard the ship, you find yourself caught between two persistent companions, seasickness and homesickness. The relentless undulation of the ocean tests the resolve of even the steadiest travellers. Your body sways involuntarily with the ship, as your insides struggle to find a rhythm in the chaos. It's an unpleasant ordeal, yet an oddly universal one, experienced concurrently by novice and seasoned sailors alike. Each morning begins with the familiar heave of the ship beneath you, and you steel yourself against the nausea that fluctuates with the rolling waves. The constant threat of seasickness hovers like an intrusive shadow. Every creak of the vessel and shift of the tide reaffirms the uneasy alliance between your stomach and the expansive sea. You endeavour to find solace in the horizon's expanse, but it feels like trying to find calm in a spinning top. Some clever souls, however, offer potential remedies, which range from the sensible to the eccentric. You hear tales of gnawing on candied ginger or clenching a small lodestone in your palm, each offering its own promise of relief. There's even talk of pressing acupressure points on your wrists, and while these may bring comfort to some, the struggle remains real for many. And let's not forget the patent "Look where you're going, not where you've been" approach, delivered with a wink from a seasoned sailor. But beyond the physical discomfort lies a deeper unease, homesickness. It's the quieter, insidious companion that tugs at your heart, whispering reminders of the world left behind. As the reality of the endless sea sinks in, you find solace in the camaraderie of shared stories of home. Others recount tales of favourite foods, beloved landscapes, and the sound of loved ones' laughter echoing in places you once knew well. These reminiscences swirl like constellations in the shared sky you collectively gaze upon. As night descends and the stars emerge, you find yourself tracing the constellations that your family once pointed out, each glimmer a beacon connecting you to those not present. It becomes a nightly ritual, a grounding grace mapping stories you all cherish, guided by stars shared throughout humanity. Yet homesickness isn't without its silver linings. It too is a mark of growth, a reminder that the very absence of familiarity is what pushes you toward the future. The further you sail from the familiar shorelines, the closer you get to new experiences, ones that will shape you just as indelibly as past memories. Conversations with fellow travellers often drift toward nostalgic comparisons, which serve dual purposes, bridging distant homes and setting the foundation for lasting bonds. A shared melody hummed during an evening watch, or a collective sigh at the mention of home-cooked meals, turns longing into a gentle kinship. Familiarity breeds contempt, they say, but here the familiar calls with a siren song, drawing sweet comparisons and earnest aspirations. Your shared antipathy toward the perils of the sea becomes a language almost sacred, spoken with wry smiles and knowing nods. As the ship cuts through the briny expanse day after day, the reality that you chose this path begins to settle. The stark division between the life you left behind and the promise of the one ahead begins to merge and meld into a single line upon the horizon, an ever-present reminder of the journey's dual nature. The sea becomes a vast canvas upon which you simultaneously etch reflections of the past and sketches of the uncertain but hopeful future. This odyssey, however arduous, kindles an internal shift, leading you to re-evaluate the concept of home. Is it a fixed place, a memory, or something you carry within yourself, adaptable to grow and encompass new connections, new worlds beyond the waves? With each passing wave, you realize it could be all three, forever evolving, much like the ceaseless ocean itself. Your heart, though, stirred by homesickness, finds its compass bearing not only in echoes of the past, but also toward the unfolding journey ahead, ever seeking new shores. And this realization in itself should tease comfort out from amongst your apprehensions, anchoring you when the waves rise and the winds howl as you outwardly sail, yet inwardly turn homeward each night. As you drift in and out of a sea-induced stupor, the monotony of the endless voyage is occasionally broken by unexpected stops and interactions. These moments, as rare instruments in the symphony of your travels, offer both blessings and challenges, each port of call a unique other world with its own tempo and rhythm. On such occasions, the horizon slowly reveals a distant shoreline, foreign and inviting, promising a brief respite from the tumult of the high seas. The excitement aboard is palpable as the prospect of touching solid earth injects life into your bones. Even the most hardened sailors view these interruptions as bright spots in the journey. The exchange of weathered tales turns animated, sparking with the kind of electric anticipation that mariners savour with abandon. Imagine your ship drawing alongside a bustling harbour, the scent of exotic spices carried on the breeze. The noises of the port reach your ears, mending the disarray of monotony, and you eagerly lean over the ship's rails to catch a first glimpse of this new environment. However, these stops are not without their own forms of trepidation. Haggling over supplies, navigating unfamiliar customs, and dealing with traders scoring for profit all require keen wits and the patience of, well, a sailor. The bustling ports are kaleidoscopic. Foreign tongues flit like butterflies around your ears. Marketplace stalls brim with mysterious goods, and new textures and tastes define the experience. Sometimes, the crew exchanges their sea-worn provisions for fresher fare, a few batches of seasonal fruits or meats obtained through lively barter, leaving you refreshed and revived. Collecting supplies revives not only your stomach but also your spirit, albeit such transactions occur while carefully measuring both currency and caution. Exchanges must extend beyond barter and coin, weaving human connection as you navigate gestures of goodwill amidst temptation. A delicate balance which fosters either friendship or misunderstanding in equal measure. Curious locals inspect the weary travellers with bemused curiosity, sharing snippets of life that linger long after you weigh anchor again. Cultural exchanges offer a treasure trove of stories, enriching your journey with tales that ripple outward in splendid empathy. Some encounters unfold through shared human experiences, a shared meal or a few borrowed words, creating memories as tangible as the salt spray on your face. History, though contentious as ever, may well hide truths of these encounters, recording only glimpses of their richness. Historians still argue about the accuracy and impact of such encounters, whether friendships or conflicts, a testament to the myriad human narratives intertwined with exploration. Regardless, these stops foster connections and offer new perspectives for both travellers and hosts. Yet, with such interactions comes the potential for unexpected setbacks. Storm clouds may brew within bright possibilities, with misunderstandings leading to clashes, leaving tense hostilities that echo long after sails are set again. Accounts of the time retell moments of missed communication, tempers inadvertently inflamed leading to precarious outcomes. A cautionary note in the ledger of voyage unwritten. Such moments of disquiet resonate differently among the pilgrims. Some bristle with apprehension when complications arise, preferring the relative sanctity of the high seas to the complexities ashore, while others revel in the human tapestry, embracing possibility in the chaos and unpredictability of burgeoning worlds merging. Ultimately, each stop serves as a reminder that the voyage is multidimensional, a delicate interplay of connection, discovery, and challenge. It's as much about tracing new maps across unknown waters as it is about creating a shared journey through culture and human experience. Through tension and warmth, you experience the collective yearning for something more, an undeniable human urge to reach out, touch lives, and find resonance beyond self. As the ship begins its departure from vibrant ports, sails unfurling and the lines tightening beneath your feet, the harbour slowly fades in the distance, each memory etched indelibly into your conscience. More than just another chapter in your maritime saga, these snippets of life instill in you a profound respect for this small planet you traverse, and an insatiable curiosity for the broader world unfolding just beyond your view. With your spirit invigorated and provisions renewed, the ship charts a path back into open waters. The currents continue their relentless push forward, and the horizon once again stretches out infinitely before you, whispering its siren song of the adventures yet to come, enticing you ever onward towards the uncharted promise of new beginnings. Sailing forward, each unexpected stop enriches not only your journey, but also the story you weave, entwined with the threads of countless others across the tapestry of history. Night descends upon the vastness of the ocean, wrapping you in its veil of darkness. As the ship gently glides through the ink-black waters, a transformation takes place that is both startling and serene. The endless expanse of water becomes a reflection of the sky, an inverted abyss where the stars sprinkle their light like scattered jewels. In this realm of quietude, the clamour of the day recedes, leaving only the mysterious symphony of the sea and the night. As you stand on deck, the cool night air tingles your skin, and you pull your coat tighter, savouring the chill that contrasts sharply with the sun's harsh embrace earlier. The sea's breath whispers around you, a never-ending lullaby that carries a sense of timelessness. This is the magic of nighttime at sea, where the universe unfurls in exquisite stillness, leaving you in awe of the vastness that surrounds you. The ship moves steadily through the water, the creak of timber mingling with the hiss of the sea, each sound part of an intricate nocturnal dance. The moon casts its silvery glow over the ocean, transforming the waves into gentle, shimmering spectres that catch the eye and draw the imagination. On these nights, the universe feels expansive, and your thoughts unfurl with it, expanding into the infinite possibilities laid bare by the cosmos above. The constellations become old friends, timeless guides that have steered sailors for centuries. You trace them with your eyes and spin tales with your fellow travellers, myths and legends passed down through the ages, embedding the sky with familiar stories and fantastical creatures. Navigating by starlight is an art long perfected by the sailors, whose practiced eyes discern the subtle movements of the heavens with ease, You watch them, marveling at their skill as they align the ship's course with the celestial path above. It's a form of quiet magic, a dance choreographed long before without a single note misplaced. It's here, in this cosmic performance, that your sense of wonder is rekindled. Nighttime at sea speaks directly to the heart, transcending the boundaries between the past and future, anchoring you in the profound beauty of a single moment, where time seems to hold its breath just for you. Though peace reigns on the surface, the sea's depths remind you of its secrets. Half-truths, known through the flutter of bioluminescent creatures, like ghostly mirages that trail the ship's wake. These luminescent beings seem to fizz and bubble in the foamy crests, leaving brief glowing traces before fading into oblivion. You can't help but think of these shimmering fragments as messages from the deep, hinting at an intricate world still unexplored. The ship's lanterns flicker with a warmer glow, casting their reach amongst your weary companions, who find solace in their shared vigil under the stars. Some cluster in quiet groups, sharing whispers and laughter, while others sit in silent contemplation, lost in thought amid the soothing rhythm of the waves. The mesmerizing scene is occasionally punctuated by the far-off echo of nocturnal sea calls, the haunting songs of distant whales or the sharp cries of seabirds, adding layers to the soundscape that envelops you. Tensions of the day give way to the comforting embrace of night. Here, in this interval between dusk and dawn, the ocean becomes a cradle of dreams, and you surrender yourself to it, letting your mind wander freely. It's a time of reflection, a chance to connect with your innermost thoughts away from the frenzy of daylight. Strange encounters of the imagination weave their tales across the night sky, stories born of salt and starlight, where dreams flow like currents through the mesmerizing void. In this vast moving world, beauty exists in simplicity, the quiet elegance of a ship slicing through darkened waters, bearing souls seemingly suspended in time. Nighttime on the open sea fosters a particular kind of journey, an exploration inward, where each thought becomes an anchor, tethering you to the ship and the stars above. It is when dreams stitch seamlessly with reality, offering glimpses of truth wrapped in midnight's cloak. And as the night deepens, you find yourself lulled into a gentle trance, held aloft by the rhythmic swaying of the ship. The rocking becomes your cradle, with the universe watching over you. The barriers between you and the vast unknown dissolve, and the world, in all its complexities and wonders, becomes your own to dream of anew, with the promise of a dawn not yet broken. As the serenity of the night gives way to the hazy glow of dawn, the horizon begins to soak up the light, revealing the relentless march of towering waves. The ship steers onward, but the tranquil rhythm of its journey is soon tested by the ominous gathering of clouds, a formation that tells of a brewing tempest. You find yourself bracing for the elemental battle that lies ahead, a fierce test of willpower and seamanship. The first gusts of wind whip around you, teasing at tattered sails and singing a forlorn tune. The air grows dense with anticipation, the ocean morphing into a roiling expanse, shifting from its earlier stealthy calm to something more formidable. Storms at sea are primal forces, uncaring and indiscriminate in their sweep, threading equal parts beauty and terror into the fabric of the waves. You gather with fellow travellers and crew, the urgency of preparation driving focus and instilling camaraderie. Sails are reefed and hatches secured as the ship prepares to face nature's display of raw power. The rising wind lashes against faces, and you can almost taste the rain before it arrives, a prelude to the deluge poised on the horizon. The ship rises and falls with the advancing waves. The creak of straining timbers and the sharp snap of canvas punctuate the storm's increasing roar. In the growing chaos, you find your world reduced to the immediacy of the elements, focused solely on riding out the maelstrom. The tempest's wrath is upon you, a stunning blend of fury and grace. The rain finally descends, sheets of water cascading from the darkened sky, drenching you and swallowing your vision in a blur of grey. Visibility narrows, and all becomes indistinct, a watercolour blur of sea and sky blending into one seamless torrent. You cling to the ship as it heaves through the churning abyss, the world an unending series of movements matched by the pounding of your heart. It is in these moments that you understand the sheer tenacity required to navigate such waters. Captains shout commands as the ship pitches side to side, their voices carrying through the high winds, rallying the crew to adhere to practices as ancient as the sea itself. Each person aboard becomes part of the intricate dance, a reprise from ancient maritime memory, unity forged in the overlapping roles of survival. The tumult invites introspection amid the cacophony. You find a strange peace nestled within the eye of the storm, where simplicity reigns and survival depends on navigating each moment as it comes. Historians still argue whether such trials truly drew sailors tighter or exacerbated divides. But here and now you feel an unmistakable sense of unity among the soaked sailors, a bond wrought of shared resolve. In the heart of the storm, there's no room for hierarchy, only the combined effort to endure. Your senses heighten, registering every lurch, every thunderous crack as the ship crests and plunges over each wave. Clasping wet ropes, fingers grow raw from salt and strain. Yet you persevere, leaning into the storm's fury with newfound strength. The tempest doesn't just challenge the body, but tests the mind's resistance against fraying. You grasp hold of every steady symbol, courage, shared smiles, whispered promises to keep the tempest at bay within. Remember those whispered tales of similar crossings, where sea snake rain faded to rainbow and despair to thrive. They fill your mind, fueled by shared lunacy as you await the break of the omen. Suddenly as it began, the storm loosens its grip, wind and waves relinquishing their dominion over the sea. The transition is gradual, the ocean easing its grip and unravelling into a rhythmic roll beneath you once more. The clouds part reluctantly, revealing a sky freshly scoured by the hard winds, still dark around its edges but promising light. Emerging from the storm's clasp, the world regains its vivid colours, and you find yourself looking upon the expanse with awe. The salt in the air seems sharper, the light revealing new shades and companions standing near, all as weathered as the ship that guides you onward. The ordeal has left you exhausted yet exhilarated, united in the collective relief of having weathered another of the ocean's trials. Here, surrounded by the shimmer of post-storm serenity, you stand resolute, fortified by the knowledge that nature tests but also tempers. The very waters that threaten now soothe, and you ride forth upon their gentle undulations, emerging stronger, more aware of your own resilience. Your journey continues with hope reawakened, carried forth on the steadfast vessel through uncharted swells towards a laden horizon. As the journey presses on, the trouble of keeping entertained reveals itself as a constant companion. In the confined, repetitive nature of daily life aboard the ship, finding distractions becomes an essential pursuit, a lifeline for the restless mind yearning for deviation from the unending sea and sky. Entertainment, after all, is not just a frivolous indulgence, but an anchor, securing spirits against the slow drag of monotony and isolation. In these enclosed quarters, creativity is born of necessity. Your fellow travellers are essential sources of distraction, each bringing their unique offerings to the table of shared amusement. Gaunt sailors and pilgrims alike devise games that turn the cramped ship spaces into arenas of play. Simple objects like dice, carved from bone or wood, circulate throughout the ship, the click-clack of their tumbling rhythms tapping out new excitement amid routine. A makeshift board fashioned from the ship's own timber can entertain for countless hours. Figures are moved in unfathomable battles across its scratched surface, encouraging strategies that harken back to lands once known, where leisure time held similar value. The call for a game is a call for respite, and you find yourself drawn into this world of strategic illusions and playful rivalries, as if the stakes were grand adventures rather than mere diversions. For those inclined to storytelling, evenings come alive with the rich tapestry of tales woven by the stars' engaging shimmer. The shared circle of listeners glows gently in the lantern's flicker, faces seen and unseen as each account unfolds. A mixture of folklore and personal history, exchange of myths and maritime lore, blending fact with fiction into a mesmerizing narrative cocktail. Some tales are grand epics sourced from homeland traditions and embellished with each telling, new beasts coloured with the hues of imagination, or droves of heroic acts accomplished with the enchantment of time. Historical accounts transform under the blanket of night, becoming alive through the vibrant lens of firelight's glow. And then there are the songs, tunes carried not only through towns and cities, but across the very waters beneath you, passed from port to port, harmonious or discordant depending on the crowd. The music is a balm of sorts, wrapping everyone who hears its entwined melodies. Sea shanties or soulful ballads ring out, accompanied by foot stomping and, when available, impromptu instruments fashioned from the simplest of tools. Remember that young lad with his makeshift drum, coaxing beats out from a barrel? His rhythms are a grounding force, steady as the salt-laden air. The shared entertainment is vastly inclusive, with participation blossoming out of laughter, the informal playing fields bridging social divides. Even those with feigned reluctance will eventually find themselves clapping along, smiling despite themselves. The lullabies of motion soften hesitations into enthusiastic participation, their own discordant harmonies adding charm to the night. For those whose spirit remains unyieldingly introspective, time alone with the pages of a treasured book provides immense solace. A lone traveller may be seen at times scribbling thoughts into a well-worn journal, capturing musings inspired by the horizon's shifting hues or the imagined worlds conjured by an intense, rouged sunset. Occasionally, fanciful competitions break out among the travellers or crew. Leg wrestling under varied bets generates whoops of encouragement or gasps of laughter, the toilette's dear necessity subcategorized beneath the audience's appreciation. Sailors challenge each other to feats of climbing the highest rigging in bet-driven contests, a show of bravado as much as agility, each step up the ropes egged on by the willing chortles below. The quiet yet unspoken narrative threads through the role of entertainment aboard its power to momentarily build peace from discord, camaraderie from solitude, and assurance from doubt. Historians still argue about the degree to which these pastimes truly maintained morale or distracted from it, yet some inherent truth lingers. The quieter moments of shared amusement cast fleeting sunbeams upon the overcast swells of uncertainty. With every game played, song sung, or tale told, the ship transforms into a theatre possessive of personalities and histories that flicker in time like the lanterns. It is a weaving of human expression and collective experience strong enough to sustain novelty amid repetition, crystallizing fleeting trifles as significant memory on this voyage to tomorrow. So you ride the waves with the buoyancy of joy discovered in the small gems of time suspended between destination and discovery. Each laugh, shared story, or flick of the dice stirs life into every corner of the ship. And, perhaps, in their collective heartbeats and whispers of dreams, evidence that, indeed, these gatherings are grand undertakings simply woven into the grander scope of maritime progress. Here the entertainment forms the heart of companionship, a pulse that you carry through the waning tides of days spent out of sight of land. Amid the daily ebb and flow of life aboard the ship, the question of clothing and practical fashion emerges as both a necessity and a reflection of the journey's challenges. In this floating world, where the old rules of society meet the practicalities of maritime life, your attire becomes an adaptive layer, serving multiple roles from protection to expression. The pilgrims aboard are a diverse group, and as you navigate the often damp and unpredictable conditions, the practicality of your wardrobe becomes immediately apparent. Layers are your best friend, providing warmth on cool nights and shedding easily during the sun-drenched days. Sturdy materials become essential, as garments must withstand the elements and the wariness of long voyages. Wool and linen reign supreme, offering durability and comfort. Wool garments, though sometimes itchy, provide much-needed warmth against the biting ocean breeze, while linen allows your skin to breathe beneath the sometimes relentless sun. These materials form the backbone of your daily attire, their resilience as constant as the waves beneath the ship. Clothing aboard also becomes a reflection of your social standing and personal history. You're likely to see pilgrims in homespun garments and simple frocks, their unadorned attire speaking to lives once led, echoing the aspirations of new beginnings. In contrast, the crew often sports attire that reflects their maritime experience, thick trousers and shirts suited to the rigours of sail and sea. Footwear becomes a crucial consideration, with soft leather shoes or sturdy boots protecting feet from the rough wooden decks. The salt-laden air seems to gnaw at every exposed leather stitch, and you find yourself paying careful attention to upkeep, using any available oils to extend the life of these essential companions. Practicality goes hand in hand with ingenuity when necessity dictates creation. Stitch by stitch, clothes are mended in quiet corners below deck, where travellers gather to sew patches upon worn garments. Each patch tells a story of resilience, a visible testament to the adventures tucked into every seam. The ship is abuzz with these small acts of maintenance, needles flashing in the lantern light, while laughter and conversation fill the air. Hats, kerchiefs and head coverings are indispensable against the unyielding elements. A wide-brimmed hat offers shade, while a simple kerchief serves to tame hair tousled by the wind, the latter offering some degree of modesty as well. These small accoutrements are often personalized treasures, tokens from loved ones left behind, or symbols of the new life eagerly anticipated. Every garment contains aspects of heritage and individuality, the echoes of villages, towns, or countryside reflected in patterns and stitches, even when confronted with the uniformity of rationed styles on board. Through this clothing you carry a piece of home, a tangible connection to your past, intertwined with the hope of your journey forward. Historically, fashion and functionality have wrapped themselves around one another at sea, much like lines twisted onto a mast. Historians still debate the extent to which clothing adapted over time due to journeys like yours, weaving cultural evolution into the fabric of maritime tradition. Regardless, one thing remains clear. Clothing bears witness to the story of the journey and the person within. Interestingly, the ship's fashion trends also branch into pure entertainment. Friendly debates ensue over the latest self-made fashion adaptation, evoking both jest and admiration amid gatherings. The occasional swapping of garments turns into delightful little ceremonies, each occasion marked with laughter, ties to new friendships stitched alongside those layers crafted by the sea's salt breeze. Within this microcosm, clothing takes on multifaceted roles. It is armor, protection, an heirloom, a tool for survival, and a medium through which personal expression and social stories are told. It shields both body and spirit against adversity and becomes a mirror through which not just the journey's unfolding is revealed, but also a glimpse of the life awaiting you on the distant horizon. As you carefully wrap a shawl about your shoulders or cinch the tie of your boots, there is a comforting reassurance felt. The realization that you, wrapped in the practical comforts aboard, are ready for whatever lies ahead. Within each thread and fold resides the promise of renewal and continuity, a tangible reminder of your readiness to meet the challenges both seen and unseen, charting a course through life with determination, wrapped in fabrics that form a tapestry of experience, entwining past and present along the boundless journey. The ship sails onward, a vessel of hope and perseverance, yet underneath its imposing masts and sturdy beams lies a hidden world. A world dedicated to the constant, tireless maintenance that keeps this grand structure afloat against nature's formidable forces. You find yourself intimately acquainted with this world as each day unfolds, revealing the never-ending cycle of work required to ensure the ship's seaworthiness. Life aboard is a delicate balance between adventure and the toils of work that bind you to the sea and each other. The ship requires endless attention and upkeep to brave the vast ocean's depths and reach distant shores. From dawn till dusk, the crew and passengers alike are often engaged in a dance of maintenance and unity, a testament to human ingenuity and resilience. The sails require rigorous care. Each line, each knot must be meticulously checked to withstand the gusts that propel you forward. The wind is both an ally and a formidable test, demanding vigilant watch. You learn to appreciate the subtle art of the sailmaker, who finesses each repair in the billowing clouds of canvas above, becoming adept at stitching patches as weathered as their hands. Beneath the waves, the ship's hull contends with time and tide. The constant battle against rot and leaks is a voyage in itself, a ritual of caulking and sealing, a dexterous dance to preserve this wooden leviathan from the relentless, salty embrace that seeks to claim it. The seasoned crew works magic down in the hold, lining seams with oakum soaked in tar, the aromatic fumes mingling with the heavy air and preserving the hull for yet another stretch of open sea. It's a rhythm as familiar as the tide, a lullaby of creaking wood and muffled banter beneath the deck. The decks demand just as much love and care, scrubbed mornings or evenings with coarse brushes to combat accumulation. The echo of the ship's creak serves as a melody, reminding you that you're adrift within a living organism of sorts, one continually breathing and heaving along with the ocean itself. Every plank underfoot, every rope in hand tells stories of past journeys, worn down by the dance of countless sailors' boots. The task of maintenance doesn't end there. Everything aboard requires ingenuity and an eye for detail, from mending nets and repairing tools to restoring the rigging's order after a storm's ferocious visit. Life at sea becomes an intricate puzzle, each fragment intertwined with responsibility, etched by the exigencies of shipboard life. Interestingly, many aboard embrace these tasks, not as obligations, but as vital threads weaving through the tapestry of this maritime existence. It binds the travellers in communal purpose, each look and touch on the ship forming a cloistered intimacy amid the wandering wilderness. Sharing in these labours forms connections as strong as the materials themselves, transforming passengers and crew into one cohesive organism. Historians still debate the overall impact of these multifaceted tasks on day-to-day life, arguing over details of how maritime labour split among hierarchy, crew and passengers during various journeys. Nonetheless, what endures is a sense of pride inherent in maintaining the ship's defiant stance against nature, while also fostering a collective spirit of resilience and adaptability, which echoes into the present with the same tenacity as the past. Modern sensibilities might regard this perpetual upkeep of the ship as unremarkable, yet experiencing it firsthand bestows an intimate understanding of the strong link between labour, survival and community. The ship is at once a battlefield and sanctuary, demanding everything from you and teaching in return lessons of endurance, craftsmanship, and symbiosis with the vessel that bears you upon its shoulders. And so the ship continues her journey, each repair and maintenance becoming part of her timeless story, indelible markers of the souls who've walked her decks, cared for her body, and trusted her with their dreams. You too become part of this living history, one hand gripping the brush, the other the rope, a silent oath pledging your efforts to preserve her for the vistas and adventures, both unveiled and unknown. United in her maintenance and offering steadfast expression of human hands entwined around invisible cords of tradition, you sail onward through the uncharted latitudes of dream and destiny, forging a balance between elemental forces and human will. As the ship sails steadily onward, an undeniable truth emerges. Where there are sailors and passengers of all ages, there are also children. These young travellers bring their own vibrant energy to the journey, transforming the ship into their grand playground, with imagination as limitless as the seas themselves. Their laughter and mischief infuse life into every creaking timber, adding levity to the voyage. You watch them dash across the deck, nimble-footed and giggling, their small bodies navigating the complex world of sails and crates with a grace that belies their age. They duck under ropes and scamper over obstacles that for them are merely extensions of the limitless worlds they create. Each mast becomes a castle tower, and every hatch a portal to hidden realms of discovery. Naturally, their presence brings both joy and challenge to the voyage. Their boundless curiosity and energy occasionally lead to moments of exasperation among the adults, who must balance their tasks and duties with an eye on their youthful charges. Yet, the children's antics serve as delightful distractions, their infectious enthusiasm chasing away the monotony that the grown-ups sometimes feel edging in on them. The maritime environment becomes both a formidable teacher and an irresistible adventure for these young souls. They learn the ropes quite literally, becoming adept at small tasks, tying knots, carrying messages or fetching items, aiding the crew in ways that surprise and amuse. During quieter moments, they might gather in hidden corners or along the ship's rail, sharing whispered secrets about far-off lands or concocting elaborate tales of sea monsters lurking below. This youthful perception of the journey adds layers to the narrative, blending realistic observation with the whimsical perspective that only a child's eyes can bring. Daydreamers, these children often share mythical sightings at the breakfast table, such as a giant squid flashing beneath the waves, or imagining dolphins as transformed sailors once enchanted by a mermaid's song. However, it's not all fantasy. The harsh sea also tests children's resilience, teaching them through real experiences rather than fairy tales. They learn, for instance, remarkable balance alongside their elders on the moving decks, and demonstrate bravery during squalls, tucked close with trusted caregivers as waves crash mightily over the ship. As they adapt, their imaginations blossom into intangible boons for those around them. Their laughter becomes infectious, weaving through the ship, coaxing smiles and widening hearts even from the sternest sailors, softening them with fond memories of lands left behind. If we spot a dragon, it's likely a sea serpent, so let's prepare our best sailors' knots, becomes a jest shared across ages. Pilgrim children, shielded by the ship's embrace and their guardians' watchful eyes, experience friendship in ways only journeys can gift. Homesickness, too, finds release among the comforting camaraderie bred within inventive young spirits. Childhood friendships bloom, strengthened by shared awe beneath the firmament unfurling above, each child a participant in the grand, unending story told by the stars. Historically, Children have always embarked on such voyages, absorbing lessons from the sea and contributing to the ship's dynamics in their unique ways. Historians still argue the extent of their impact, wondering if their presence cheered weary adults through harder crossings or was viewed as additional challenge. What remains undisputed is the indelible mark of youth, the innocent wonder and irrepressible curiosity that echoes through the generations, forever a part of the human voyage across time and water. As these small travellers continue their adventures, they partake in rituals that are equal parts playfulness and purpose, creating treasure maps from makeshift materials, or learning the names of seabirds swooping overhead. Each child adds their own threads to the tapestry of memory woven aboard. And so, through each wave and squall, each lullaby sung under starlit skies, the children form their own constellations of dreams. Becoming vibrant stars themselves, within the shared cosmic journey, they are joyful reminders of life's continuity and the enduring capacity for wonder within the human spirit, turning this floating world into a sanctuary of discovery and kinship while sailing toward new horizons. As the ship continues its voyage across the vast ocean, the ever-present force of faith becomes a central pillar for many travellers. Amidst the chaos and uncertainty of life at sea, divine providence and daily devotions emerge as guiding lights, a spiritual compass steering hearts and minds toward hope and fortitude. In the early morning or quiet afternoon, travellers gather in small clusters on the deck or below, drawn together by shared beliefs and the solace found in communal prayer. Each act of devotion is a reassurance, a whisper to the heavens that they are not alone in this expansive wilderness, a reminder that their journey is both a physical and spiritual pilgrimage toward a promised new beginning. Prayers fill the air with a rhythmic cadence, rising and falling with the undulating waves. The soft murmur of whispered invocations blends with the wind as the ship sails ever onward. These moments of reflection provide a reprieve from the physical demands of the voyage, allowing the faithful to ground themselves spiritually amid the ever-shifting world around them. It's as if, through prayer, they fortify their resolve, equipping themselves to face both storms and fair skies with equal grace. For many, the act of seeking divine guidance is more than mere ritual. It's a cornerstone of survival. The journey represents both exile and exodus, echoing biblical tales of perseverance in the face of adversity. Passages of scripture are read aloud, their ancient words offering a timeless balm to weary souls. Together, they build an invisible tapestry of hope, binding each pilgrim to the wider history of their faith, a thread weaving personal stories into a grander, divine narrative. Among them you might find a pastor or lay leader taking charge, their voices steadying the assembly just as the captain commands the ship. They remind everyone to trust not only in the firmament above, but also in the strength that comes from within. A reminder that the voyage encompasses more than mere physical distance. It's intriguing to watch how daily devotions shape both social interactions and personal journeys. Bonds among travellers deepen, nurtured by mutual beliefs that transcend their transient home. There is comfort in shared rituals, the familiarity they afford amid the unknown, the sense of belonging they foster among disparate souls dreaming of new shores. The children, curious and impressionable, learn the importance of these rituals through observation and participation. To them, the ship becomes a floating chapel, echoing with hymns that challenge the roar of the sea. In their young hearts, seeds of faith are planted, nurtured by the certainty of community, even when the world seems uncertain. Historians still debate the extent to which faith influenced the success of such voyages, arguments echoing between documentation of experiences and interpretations of motives. Yet standing here, amidst this congregation of believers, the palpable assurance acquired through spiritual practices feels undeniably vital. The symbiotic relationship between faith and survival becomes evident, offering strength not merely through divine intervention, but through the harmonious unity of shared purpose among those on board. Occasionally, rituals incorporate aspects of the environment, a sunset marked by communal reflection as the sun dips below the horizon, or a quiet moment of gratitude following nature's awe-inspiring spectacle. When the seas are rough, prayers become calls for mercy and protection, pleading for angels to guide them through the turmoil. In contrasts, gentle lulls invite whispered thanks, musings of gratitude for the quietude and revelations discovered along the way. Though the depths of the ocean remain vast and unknowable, the sailors and pilgrims find sanctuary within their devout routines. With each shared prayer, each song sung in unison, they draw closer, forming a spiritual lifeline that tethers them to each other and to the divine. Thus, divine providence and daily devotions craft an essential chapter in the narrative of survival, a unifying force in the face of adversity. Through faith, they navigate not just seas but souls, seeking not only the promise of land ahead, but also peace within themselves. These moments of devotion serve as profound reminders of humanity's enduring quest for meaning, sailing forth not only across the endless blue, but toward the infinite horizons of hope and reconciliation found within the human heart. As the ship forges through the expansive ocean, the grandeur of the sea becomes both a marvel and a menace. Hidden dangers lurk beneath the surface, weaving real and imagined threats into the fabric of your journey. This watery world teems with possibilities, both wondrous and terrifying, and demands respect from even the most experienced mariners. Each day dawns with the reminder that the ocean is not just a bridge to the new world, but a vast pulsating frontier where nature reigns supreme. The light prey on the water's surface can belie the mysteries of its depths, where shadows dance and shapes blur into the unknown. The sea feels alive, a living entity with its own heartbeat, commanding both reverence and awe. Amidst this enchanting mystery lies the undeniable reality of danger, shoals and reefs that rise stealthily from the depths, the spectres of jagged rocks near unseen coasts, whispered tales of ghostly shipwrecks strewn across the seabed like silent sentinels. Navigating these threats requires not only skill but intuition, a sixth sense honed through years on the water. Engage in conversations with sailors and you'll hear tales ranging from the plausible to the downright fantastical. There's talk of rogue waves, monolithic walls of water that rise without warning, and sudden squalls appearing like spectres to extinguish the brightest day. Though rare, such phenomena grip the imagination, reshaping the lore shared across generations. Each tale a warning, a guidebook steeped in cautious respect. And then there are the creatures. Think of sharks, those swift shadows cutting through clear waters, oftentimes painted as villains in whispered stories, yet amidst their mighty presence, you are more likely to glimpse dolphins frolicking in friendly pods alongside the ship, or the gentle grace of a passing whale exhaling mist like oceanic incense, a reminder of the harmony that yet exists among the elements. But not all dangers dwell only in the physical realm. The sea's boundless isolation can stir a different type of fear, one that creeps in during the quiet hours and wraps around the edges of the mind. Here, imagination blends with shadows to birth sea monsters or sirens that call from the depths, enticing weary sailors with promises of rest or revelation. Historians and mariners alike debate whether these imaginings were merely a product of the solitude or shared echoes of ancient myths crusted onto reality like barnacles on the hull. Yet there's an undeniable truth nestled in these tales. They are the human means of interpreting the unknown, a way to understand the unfathomable depths with storytelling as a trusted guide. In this microcosm of seafaring life, the very act of sharing these stories serves a unique purpose. It engages both fear and community. Collective imaginations fill the ship with whispered yarns of krakens rising and mermaids laughing, an overlapping tide of lore soothing the unease bred by that vast, unseen wilderness below. To balance these hidden fears, the crew clings to pragmatic rituals, transforming the unknown into the predictable. Routine becomes the bulwark against the unseen anomalies, as watches are carefully kept through the night, lookout spots strategically chosen, and navigational skills sharpened under the scrutinizing gaze of veterans. Acknowledge these lurking dangers and they become less fearsome. By navigating this delicate dance between tangible threats and the ghosts of imagination, one gains a deeper understanding of both nature and self. It's a reminder of humanity's enduring dance with the unknown, intertwined with courage drawn from shared experience. Each morning that dawns without incident brings renewed gratitude, a realization resounding within every soul aboard of the fragile and exquisite connection binding ship to sea, fortunes to fates. The ocean is both ageless and eternal, yet encased within its embrace is human tenacity's tireless pursuit of knowledge, transformation, and survival. With this understanding, each wave's rise and fall speak of freedom, each danger evoking wonder alongside vigilance, transforming the ship into a vessel not just of physical presence, but philosophical voyage, a testament to the intricate interplay between humanity and the forces that shape its journey. As the ship sails onward, you are secure in the knowledge that every turn of the tide is part of the grand eternal story whispered by the sea. As the journey across the vast ocean unfurls, one challenge emerges that is as stealthy as it is pervasive. Communication. Aboard this swaying microcosm where cultures mingle and diverse languages interweave, the quest to understand and be understood forms a silent current threading through each day. It's a voyage not only over water, but across the intricate seas of human connection, where words are precious buoys keeping you afloat in a pool of unfamiliarity. Imagine the ship as a bustling market, where voices rise and fall like the tides. Each word becomes a tool with which to navigate this diverse human tapestry, working to bridge the gaps between different languages, accents, and experiences. This ship, after all, hosts not only pilgrims in search of new beginnings, but sailors from varied ports, each bringing their own rich tapestry of dialect and idiom. Consider the cacophony of accents that fill the air, each uttered sentence flavoured by its homeland. Within this, you quickly learn to decipher intent through gestures, a raised eyebrow, a nod toward the horizon, a silent lexicon built and shared through simple observation. Communication here is dynamic and adaptive, a mélange of spoken language and body language choreographed by necessity. The symphony of interaction is not without its discordant notes. Misunderstandings lurk in the spaces between words, ready to pounce in moments of haste or fatigue. A request at the wrong moment, a misinterpreted gesture, or less than ideal timing can seed confusion among even the most well-meaning individuals. These instances, though frustrating, become necessary lessons in patience and humility, reminding all aboard of the complexities woven into the act of communication itself. In this flurry of exchanges, humour becomes an invaluable ally. Laughter, after all, speaks in every tongue. A well-timed jest or shared chuckle has the power to dissolve escalating tensions and to weave threads of rapport between those of disparate origins. It is here that you find the universal language of smiles transcending barriers, as infectious as the sea air itself. Picture a sailor's exaggerated tale, earning a chorus of laughter from his peers, the sound echoing joyfully through the timbered structure despite their varied mother tongues. But it's not merely the spoken word that links those aboard. Bonds are also formed through shared experiences, be it tackling a wind-lashed sail as a team, mending nets alongside a neighbour, or standing united beneath the sprawling canvas of the stars. Each shared task or struggle builds a bridge over which meaning flows effortlessly, where camaraderie thrives above the noise. The ship's crew, seasoned in the art of non-verbal communication, often serve as the glue binding this diverse assembly, their hand signals and terse instructions resonating through the storm or calm, bridging the divide between languages with silent proficiency. Watch how they weave through their tasks with an unspoken ease, a silent symphony of cooperation where every hand movement, meaningful glance, and intuitive nudge speaks volumes. Just as language is both a barrier and a bridge, so too are encounters with other vessels along the journey. Communication beyond the ship's prow becomes a necessary skill, with flags, signals, and Morse codes exchanged as new acquaintances drawn on course. The flicker of lanterns across the night speaks of cooperation and understanding in this collective adventure under the starscape, even when the spoken word remains elusive. Historians still deliberate whether such communicative endeavours enriched the voyages or bore tensions. What is undeniable is the profound impact of these interactions, which imbue the travel narrative with depth and diversity. The myriad corresponding voices echo through memory, forming a woven legacy stronger, perhaps, than the wood beneath your feet. As your ship continues to carve its way through the vast seascape, the lessons of communication remain blending understanding with expression, resilience with rapport. You learn that in this shared space of transit, each uttered phrase or whispered sigh is a testament to the human spirit's unyielding desire to connect, to forge bonds, and to share stories, transcending barriers of spoken word and echoing across the wide, open waters. And when the day's encounters quiet in the dusking tranquility, you carry this understanding forward, a treasure as boundless as the horizon stretching before you. a horizon that promises continued opportunity for discovery, for connection, for stories yet untold. In this silent promise, unspoken yet deeply felt, lies the true gift of the voyage, the harmonious dance across the mosaic sea of human communication. As the ship navigates the unending blues of the ocean, the heart of its journey lies in the mastery of navigational tools and techniques. These instruments and skills serve as the silent sentinels guiding you through the boundless expanse, each one a blend of science, art, and a touch of maritime magic. It's an essential dance with precision and intuition, where celestial bodies and man-made devices form an alliance to chart an unwavering course toward the horizon. Amidst the ropes and sails, there are small, invaluable instruments which command significant respect from sailors and captains alike. The compass, that unassuming device, stands foremost among them, a steadfast ally in steering through uncertainties. Observing a navigator delicately spin the compass rose, you're reminded of its role as a beacon, its needle pointing ever northward, even when the world itself seems adrift. The astrolabe and the sextant join this entourage of directional guides, archaic and elegant in their functionality. These tools are your windows to the universe above, tracking the celestial dance of stars and planets. With them you can measure the sun's height at noon, or the angles between constellations, aligning your earthly journey with the cosmic ballet played out above. Picture a seafarer, eyes intent on the heavens, determining your precise location by reading the language of the stars, not unlike a poet deciphering verse. Amidst these, the simplistic hourglass quietly marks time, its sand flowing in an unceasing trickle, reminding you of the voyage's passage and the intricate ballet of days into nights. For the more seasoned sailors among you, the opportunity to learn these skills is a rite of passage. Under the tutelage of those experienced, you grasp the sextant for the first time, eye pressed to its eyepiece as you align sights with that bright beacon above, a humbling experience, drawing a direct line between your journey and the wider universe. Yet such efforts are not without their challenges. Changes in weather can obscure the sky or sea conditions that might toy with your instruments. You learn the importance of adaptability, of reading cloud formations and listening to the wind's whispers, those subtle signs that hint at what lies ahead. Here emerges the art of dead reckoning, where you interpolate your course through a blend of estimation, memory, and intuition, writing your path upon unseen waters. Despite the complexity, teamwork remains a vital pulse threading through this discipline. Navigators, with maps unfurled, consult with the captain and crew. There they collectively decide on choices that etch the ship's progress into reality. These gatherings, accompanied by the rhythmic clink of compasses and the rustle of paper, are as much ceremony as practical need, a testament to collaboration in the face of nature's whims. Historians still argue whether these techniques, considered rudimentary by today's standards, conditioned navigators with perseverance or drew lines too narrow for errant adventure. Nevertheless, the mastery of these tools represents a fascination with precision, a romance suspended between exploration and the assurance of course. Ultimately, as your ship carves its path across the open sea, you grow to appreciate the intimate dependence between humanity and these instruments. They are more than mere objects. They form a legacy of courage and curiosity, infused with the desire to understand and conquer the unexplored realms stretching out before you. And with each calculated line scrawled across the map's parchment, with each celestial body recognized and each position plotted, you add your own ink to the grand chronicle of maritime history. A chronicle written not just in charts and almanacs, but also in stars, endurance, and the unspoken longing to reach beyond the known. As the voyage progresses, the interplay between man and instrument provides a harmonious refrain against the shifting tapestry of the ocean's surface, charting a course not only over the seas, but through the history of adventure itself. And as the horizon unfurls, guided by your growing knowledge of these navigational wonders, you remain steadfast in your journey, bound for discovery by way of compass points, celestial whispers, and the persistent pull of dreams yet fulfilled. As the ship continues its journey through the vast and mysterious waters, it becomes more than just a vehicle of transit. It evolves into a bridge between cultures. The Atlantic, with its shifting hues and restless depths, serves as both barrier and conduit, imparting a rich tapestry of intercultural encounters. These meetings reveal glimpses of shared humanity and diverse traditions, colouring the voyage with stories that reach beyond oceanic divides. Occasionally, the call of a distant foreign port lures the ship to its shores, where the bustle of harbour life demands its utmost attention. Here, the swirl of human activity speaks in myriad tongues and gestures, a vibrant mixture of sounds, sights, and smells that beckon to curious souls. It's a kaleidoscope of culture, where the familiar merges seamlessly with the exotic, prompting that familiar blend of anticipation and trepidation. The moment you step onto unfamiliar soil, the air thick with spices and the vibrant colours of bustling markets, you become both traveller and student. The opportunities for interaction multiply rapidly, demanding quick wit and open spirit as currency in this rich exchange of lives and stories. Vendors peddle their wares, their voices a lilting symphony, while traders haggle over goods with grins hidden beneath cordial shouts. In these encounters, language dances like an acrobat on words, each participant mastering non-verbal cueing for connection. Smiles become gateways to new friendships, the universal language that crosses boundaries more decisively than currency. Here, you might share a meal with someone whose table exhibits a bounty of flavours both novel and enticing, dishes seasoned with coriander or cumin tantalising your senses, expanding your palate beyond the limitations of salted meat and hardtack. More than just culinary delights, these interactions invite personal exchanges, stories of distant lands and age-old customs, laughter over shared enjoyment, and earnest discussions about differences and similarities in faith, family, or fate. Bonds are formed, momentary yet potent, each interaction a testament to the unyielding desire to understand and be understood. The fearsome pirates haunt the pages of any history surrounding sea travel, yet in these colourful ports and vibrant exchanges, reality defies stereotype, forging a path for mutual respect over nonsensical myth. Stories shared are not always peaceful, yet even in knowing the less savoury characters and tricky circumstances, those aboard your ship absorb these narratives as intricate threads in the ever-expanding global weave. For as much as these encounters enrich the soul, they also demand the exercise of ancient maritime caution, the seasoned vigilance necessary when trading amid strangers. Eyes remain watchful, minds alert to the potential risks, ever aware of the delicate balance between openness and safety in foreign lands. Historians still argue whether such interactions tempered the voyage's isolating tendencies, or added layers of complexity and intrigue. And nonetheless, when the ship sets its sails once more to carry you across the next stretch of indomitable blue, it does so laden with more than refreshed provisions and material goods. It's also a vessel of intangible gifts. Ideas exchanged in heartening laughter, new perspectives gleaned from shared stories, and a fresh infusion of hope gleaned from an expanding world. Through each channel of discovery flows a reminder of our shared humanity, engendering compassion amongst diversity. The voyage extends outward, not just a path between distant shores, but a journey toward understanding the multifaceted human condition. The sea takes on the role of silent observer, recording the nuances of these intercultural exchanges as waves lap eternally against the hull. A maritime historian of sorts, bearing witness to the harmony and discord encapsulated in the stories of those who sail its waters. Each foreign port leaves a mark on you, like indelible ink inscribing lessons learned and friendships forged deep within. These new experiences broaden your horizons and shape the evolving narrative of the voyage, adding depth and richness to the shared journey of discovery. Together, through each interaction you chart a map, marked not just by stars and coordinates, but by the enduring spirit of community that transcends oceans and time. A story of curiosity and connections, eternally reaching for the shores of understanding. As the journey unravels through the vast sea, the intricate interplay between the crew and the pilgrims becomes a tapestry of shared moments and underlying tensions. The ship, both soaring sanctuary and confined world, hosts a diverse assembly that maneuvers through a delicate balance of cooperation and occasional discord. The crew, a band of seasoned mariners, fills the ship's veins with the pulse of experience and hard-earned camaraderie. These are individuals forged from oceanic elements, salt in their veins, and the wind carrying their secrets. Each member, skilled in the ways of the sea, maintains the ship's course through intuition honed from countless voyages. They form a cohesive unit, moving with maritime grace through the world of ropes and sails. In contrast, the pilgrims on board represent a mosaic of hopes, stories, and dreams knitted together by shared aspirations rather than natural inclination to the sea. They are adventurers in their own right, yet many are strangers to maritime ways, learning through immersion with each successive day, watching the crew shape the thunderous canvas of the sails above. Initially, a divide lingers between the crew's practiced expertise and the pilgrims' tentative steps into unfamiliar roles. It's a natural friction whispered along the ship's bones, one that occasionally bared its teeth with misunderstandings or frayed nerves. Over time, however, this division blurs, forged by the daily rhythms of shared labour and mutual reliance. The demands of the voyage necessitate a meshing of worlds. The pilgrims begin learning the ropes, quite literally at times. Initiated by necessity, they become proficient enough to tend sails or man the pumps under a watchful crew's guidance, turning former inexperience into valued assistance, and in the process, forming subtler bonds with their seafaring teachers. Remember, if you will, the old sailor with his weather-beaten grin, demonstrating vivid knots with stories woven through each loop, a storyteller at heart, unravelling journeys more ancient than any rope. Both groups find commonality amid the challenge of the elements. When weather turns fierce, the line between veteran sailor and novice pilgrim dissolves. All hands work side by side, securing masts against raging winds or battening hatches during a squall. Each pair of muscles strains equally against nature's force. Unity forged amid shared adversity. It is here, in these moments of elemental struggle, where differences fade and camaraderie deepens amidst the storm's roar. In the quieter times, connections gestate over shared tomatoes, preserved ale, and bleached rations, as conversations drift among personal narratives and learned nautical lore. Mariners share tales of mythical sea creatures and far-off lands with wide-eyed pilgrims, inviting them into a rich oral tradition shaped by tides and seasoned with years spent upon the brine. Historians still argue whether these relationships strengthened the essence of community on such voyages or lent complexity to an already multifaceted social hierarchy. Yet here, atop the groaning decks where the surface may appear worn, they see beneath the layers a tapestry threaded by trust, adapted to withstand the mighty ocean's test. Even among this camaraderie, subtle tensions can stir. The crew, living by unsaid codes and ancient rhythms, occasionally chafe at the pilgrims' early fumbles, while the pilgrims strive to adjust to the ship's perpetually swaying dance, eager to learn, yet still prone to misstep. Each side, however, learns more with each passing day about patience, a balancing art that mutes the clamour of differences with the gentle understanding begotten under weathered skies. It is this ever-evolving relationship that propels the ship forward, intertwined with the currents of harmony and discord, each an intrinsic part of the human experience. Through jointly forged trials, both groups carve a path, finding shared space on wood plank floors and open decks, where salt-washed laughter rises to meet the wind's lament. As your ship glides onward, you carry these lessons within, subtle reflections of the life lived all around you. These interactions teach that humanity, in its essence, can mirror the sea itself, a surface pulled by the tides, revealing depths steeped in complexity and currents rife with cohesion. Just as the sea becomes a pathway, so too does this shared venture chart its own courses, creating bridges where none existed before, linking the courage found in both crew and pilgrims to the breadth and promise of the unknown horizon. As the voyage presses onward across the vast expanse, the anticipation of land grows, imparting a renewed sense of purpose yawning wide across the prow. It is the dreams of land and liberty that sustain the pilgrims through long nights and endless days, threading each ripple of hope with the boundless ocean as they journey toward a new world. A subtle shift vibrates through the ship, a new gleam in the eyes of those aboard, sparked by the promise of what lies beyond the horizon. Every traveller feels it, a collective dreaming that thrums in time with the wind and waves. There's a palpable electricity in the air, an essence that binds disparate souls into a shared anticipation for the freedom awaiting them. In quiet pockets of the ship where friends gather, conversations swell with youthful dreams of possibility, whispers of fertile fields ready for sowing, forests echoing with the beckon of discovery, and rivers whispering with the promise of unexplored paths. Each tale spun, though speculative, carries the promise of new beginnings, a chance to shape land and life according to dreams nurtured from afar. The feeling is contagious, weaving its way through the mariners too, who share in the traveller's hope, while contemplating the completion of their long navigation. For them, this voyage holds dual significance: a return to shores known and yet unknown, achieving the satisfaction of completing a journey that tests and refines them anew with each droplet of salt spray. The nights grow shorter as resolutions strengthen. Dreams become more vivid, painting landscapes of a world where freedom is the legacy passed from hand to hand, where dreams set root and flower within the soil's embrace. United by common ambition, these dreamers share visions as bright as the heliacal risings that set the heavens alight. These conversations spill over into shared meals, companionable laughter echoing like a shared chorus against the timbers, as if rehearsing for the symphony of life to come. Consider the young children who gaze wide-eyed at each telling, captivated by the adventures drawn from words carved in hope out of mid-air, their imaginations crafting entire worlds more vivid than daylight. Thoughts drift toward liberty, unfurling with the sails, an end to old constraints and an embrace of new possibilities, a place where voices seek the liberty to work hand in hand, expressing individuality within the greater community. A pocket of earth where dreams are granted form, moulded by the fertile energies of mind and heart. Scholars and historians later ponder whether such dreams drove the Pilgrims onward, or if they masked deeper fears of the unknown. Perhaps both, as hope often dresses itself in shadow, echoing the complexities that dwell within the human soul. As the ship sails steadfast toward dawn, each creak of timber serves as testimony to the indomitable belief carried within the travellers, that the new world brings not just land, but a rebirth of the heart and spirit. Each glimpse of sunrise holds the promise of transformation, a chance to carve possibilities into tangible realities, writing a new chapter in the ever-unfolding human story. And so, as the ship's bow cuts through the gentle thrumming sea, it propels dreams toward realization beneath the softly curving horizon. The bonds formed aboard friendships and families alike strengthen, ready to set foot upon shores poised to receive them. Innumerable dreams run like threads through every corner of the ship, weaving individual ambitions into the collective fabric of a burgeoning new society. Each thread a whisper against the indomitable canvas of destiny. The voyage pulses with expectancy, a crescendo built upon salt winds and oceanic currents, carrying each hope-laden soul toward the vision of an awakened tomorrow. The daunting vastness of the Atlantic fades with each dawn, replaced by the fervent yearning for freedom, a place where ideals take root and liberty stands as a new dawn amidst the columns of history. As you sail toward the promise of new horizons, your anticipation grows, fueled by the knowledge that the land, once unseen yet vividly imagined, draws ever nearer. Here, amid the dance of dreams and destiny, the heart beats steadily, in time with the ship's rhythmic advance, en route to where the confluence of sea and land will mean more than mere arrival. The horizon finally surrenders to the promise of land, not as a distant dream, but as a tangible reality, sending ripples of excitement through the ship. The call of land ho bursts forth, carried eagerly from voice to voice, until the once indistinct line in the distance becomes a clearer shape, a world gathering itself to welcome you to its shores. The long-awaited landfall is imminent, steeped in the echoes of hope's whisper and the culmination of enduring vigilance. As you approach, the shoreline, once an abstract notion, transforms into a vivid canvas, revealing itself with each passing wave. Rocky cliffs stand sentinel against the tide's caress, their rugged outlines softened by the wash of dawn's light. The craggy formations yield to stretches of green that promise fertility, a balm to eyes weary of the sea's unending blue. You breathe in, tasting the sweetness of land in each particle of the brisk new air, tinged with the earth's aromatic promise. As the ship nears its anchorage, energy surges anew on board. Every hand finds a task as the ship is readied for its mooring, lines tightened, cargo secured, and the vessel eased with delicate precision into the cradle of the harbour. Here, routine becomes a ritual of gratitude, a testament to the human spirit's perseverance in reaching this hallowed threshold of opportunity. Amidst the bustling flurry, the scent of the unfamiliar wafts through the air, a mixture of rich earth, sea salt, and foliage. It envelops the pilgrims, speaking to past memories and new beginnings. The land's vivid colours, deep greens, ochres, and blues, ignite visions of a life awash in possibility. Eager feet become restless with anticipation to feel solid earth beneath them once more. Upon disembarking, every sense is awakened to the symphony of the land, a blend of the known and the unknown. The feel of soft soil underfoot offers reassurance, a tactile connection to the world that will soon become home. The wind rustles through leaves overhead, producing a melodious rustling that becomes a familiar harmony. Around you, joyful reunions and heartfelt introductions take place, uniting those who have ventured far with those who awaited their arrival. The eagerness to explore is palpable, curiosity tickled by the prospect of uncharted paths beckoning forward. You begin to venture inward, and each step further into this brave new world unfurls fresh wonders. A nearby forest whispers with life, its shadows alive with bird calls and insects thrumming in concert, while nearby waters lap against the shore, their rhythm an eternal testament to timelessness. There is richness in the echoes of this new chapter, a land filled with opportunity, challenging and inviting in equal measure. You find yourself participating in the first tentative moments of a life reborn, dreams once merely imagined, now sowing themselves into the fabric of reality. Yet, amidst the fervour of exploration, the remnants of the voyage linger, each adventure rekindling fondness for the shared companionship born from the sea. The crew, now preparing to journey back across the same vast waters, reflects on their own journeys, just as the Pilgrims turn to their new lives. You exchange tokens of friendship and shared memories. Handshakes, embraces, laughter, but mostly a shared understanding that bonds, like paths, can endure across distance. Through this transition stands a singular feeling, the triumph of having traversed the wild ocean to arrive here, where land meets sea in a quiet song. Historians still debate how these first impressions shape the course of settlements, interactions, and legacies alike, but standing upon the threshold now, the profound magic of first landfall is undeniable. In these moments, you learn that the voyage, though concluding, is just the beginning. It was not merely a crossing of water, but of understanding, unity, and discovery, a passage connecting one world to another, one life chapter to the next. As you set foot on the shore, stretching out under new skies, you do so with a heightened awareness of the interconnectedness between sea, land, and spirit. With each stride into the unknown, you carry within memories, designed by shared experiences, tethered to dreams now poised to take root. This is the land you've journeyed toward, and here, where waves kiss the strand, you find your canvas stretched wide, a sanctuary of untapped potential, whispering the possibilities that await your presence and the stories yet to thread across time's unyielding tapestry. With the excitement of landfall behind you, the weight of the voyage gives way to the sobering reality of constructing a new life. The promise of the new world is laid out before you, vast and unclaimed. Yet it bears its own set of challenges that demand every ounce of resolve and resourcefulness you possess. The journey, it seems, was not just a passage across the sea, but a prelude to the adventure of building anew. The first day is bustling with palpable energy, as pilgrims and crew alike descend upon the soil with vision and urgency. The initial excitement is quickly tempered by the practical demands of establishing shelter, a task as urgent as it is daunting. The sea, once an all-encompassing world unto itself, becomes a soft backdrop now as you direct your attention toward the land's potential. Fields and forests, rich with secrets and untamed beauty, beckon for human touch. You and your companions begin to clear plots, each swing of axe and heft of shovel marking the birth pangs of a nascent settlement. Timber is harvested to craft the framework of homes and common buildings, structures that will soon hold the heartbeats of a new community. An air of industrious purpose fills the space, enveloping each bent-back labourer in the shared rhythm of creation. The natural world feels as much ally as adversary. Fertile soil and abundant forests whisper the potential for growth and prosperity, while the dense thickets, shadowed clearings, and rugged terrain challenge each chosen path. Even the climate is an unpredictable partner, alternating between offering warm, nurturing sunshine and harsh, unyielding storms, as unpredictable as those on the sea. Food sources beyond the meagre stores brought across the ocean must be procured, adding layers to the survival equation. Fishing lines are cast, traps are laid, and the bounty of the forest explored. You stand alongside those foraging, baskets in hand, learning to identify the edible flora while respecting the land's limits. Each small success a cluster of berries. A spear of fish rolls the dice of sustenance in your favour. balancing the odds of continuation against the laws of nature. Amidst these challenges, you find solace in community, a bond forged on the high seas now strengthened on solid ground. Evening meals become a gathering of weary bodies, sharing victories and losses, dreams and doubts, beneath the tapestry of constellations that remain your ever-present canvas. Around the fire's warmth, voices mix like threads in a weave, intertwining hope with hardship, past laughter with present dreams. It's intriguing how quickly skills adapted on the ship find new purpose on land. The sailor's prowess in practical problem-solving translates seamlessly into the tasks at hand, from constructing solid shelters to creating waterways that keep the newfound settlement irrigated. Previously disparate talents now blend harmoniously, an orchestra of industry playing its hopeful symphony across the burgeoning landscape. Amid this growth, the daunting shadow of the unknown lingers, its breadth only hinted at by the stories carried by the wind and whispers of wilder lands beyond sight. Historians still argue about the impact of such challenges on the settlers' resolve. Did they fuse the community tighter, or lay seeds of conflict, or perhaps both, in measures varied as the stories told? As days bloom into weeks and months, each grain in the hourglass of time marks progress in incremental steps. Crops are planted, irrigation systems managed, and the beating heart of the community finds its own natural tempo. Hopes rise and fall like the sun on the horizon, but the perseverance of each soul refuses to be eclipsed, pushing ever onward toward the vision that first called them across the expansive ocean. In these efforts lies an understanding deeper than the soil itself. The journey continues, now turned inward as well as outward. Through cooperation, steadfastness, and a will bound to growth, the very land beneath your feet starts to breathe in reciprocal measure, stretching upward in response to each act of cultivation and care. The new world, once a dream, unfurls its potential in the hands of those who ventured across the sea's swell. You carry with you an evolving legacy, rooted in heritage, branching into hope, etching human intention upon the landscape with every stride. Here, amid the convergence of land and dreams, lies the heart of creation, the ever-beckoning promise of boundlessness that, once revealed, forever propels the spirit onward. This, then, is the ultimate discovery. Life fashioned anew under skies untroubled by sails, where the land itself becomes both canvas and companion in the heart's quest for freedom. As you and your fellow pilgrims set about the complex task of building a new life, the first encounters with the native peoples become a significant chapter in your unfolding story. These encounters bring with them an array of emotions: curiosity, caution, apprehension, and hope. Two worlds meet at this confluence of land and history, each carrying its own legacy, shaped by time and tradition, now poised to intersect. The new world, expansive and rich, is not untouched. The land, teeming with life, is home to those who have cultivated its bounty for generations. As your paths cross, a tapestry of human experience stretches between you, woven from threads of shared landscapes and separated by cultures. News of your arrival traverses the woods, whispered by the trees and carried by the winds, alerting the native communities to your presence. Your earliest glimpses of these new neighbours are often fleeting, silhouettes glimpsed through the trees that quietly survey the newcomers. There's a wariness steeped in these moments, a hesitation born from echoes of the past and an uncertain future. Yet there is also an innate human curiosity that guides these first steps toward understanding. The initial encounters are tentative, each side assessing the other through gestures and expressions that transcend language. The distance between you and them is as much cultural as it is physical, a gap bridged by curiosity more than fear. Within these exchanges lies the potential for connection or conflict, an ever-present duality etched into each interaction. As time passes, certain individuals take on the role of interpreters. Their aptitude for language and understanding becomes invaluable. These interlocutors help to break the silence and foster communication, sharing stories and questions with the hope of finding common ground beneath the unfamiliar sky. Gifts are exchanged, can be objects that carry meaning, from simple tools to symbols of cultural significance, slowly building a sense of shared identity. From these exchanges, a dialogue emerges, marked by gestures more than words. The native peoples teach you about the flora and fauna, the rhythms of the land, and the seasons that shape life. You learn new methods of cultivation and medicine, participating in the exchange of knowledge that enriches both communities. In turn, your stories of voyages and distant lands capture the imagination, painting pictures of a world beyond the horizon. Amongst these tentative steps toward friendship, ideas and practices begin to blur, evolving into mutual respect. Meals shared become moments of communion, where thoughts slow to meet the heartbeat of the land, and laughter becomes a bridge spanning perceived divisions. It's a slow dance, orchestrated by patience, open-heartedness, and the shared necessity of thriving in a challenging environment. However, it is naive to ignore the lurking shadows of misunderstanding and mistrust that can plague such encounters. Language barriers and cultural differences can skew perceptions and cause unintended affronts, revealing that delicate balance which must forever be managed. Historians still argue the broad consequences ensuing from these early interactions, whether opportunities led to collaboration or seeded conflicts that would reverberate through time. Despite this, it remains that the potential for mutual benefit brims within each meeting between yourselves and the native peoples, a chance to learn, adapt, and grow. The intertwining of your paths signifies harmonious possibilities, alongside cautionary tales, illustrating the power of united destinies charted against the boundless frontier of human experience. Each exchange sketches a mark upon the narrative of this new world, shared hopes and dreams that reach toward an ideal where hearts and minds converge over common goals while respecting differences. Herein lies the profound truth of these meetings, the spirit of coexistence, which, though at times strained, serves as a testament to a vision of collective humanity. In the promise of the land, and in the encounters that shape your existence upon it, there lies a testament to the complex beauty of human relationships, connections formed from shared adventures and divergent paths converging upon this vast stage, weaving together a story that seeks harmony amid discord, kinship amid diversity, and ultimately common purpose in a world ripe with possibility. With the trials of the new world well underway, time, fluid in its passage, brings the first harvest. These initial fruits of collective labour symbolize more than sustenance. They are the embodiment of survival, resilience, and the dreams that propelled you across the tumultuous sea. A tangible reward for toil and unyielding spirit emerges, beckoning celebration and reflection on the path that led you here. The harvest bears more than crops. It stands as a testimony to the camaraderie forged in shared labour, friendships and partnerships drawn from common aspirations and collective struggle. Each sheaf of grain, each cluster of vegetables, speaks to the human spirit's tenacity, manifested in the physical world through nurturing hands and hopeful hearts. The community, diverse and vibrant, comes together in gratitude, as autumn's chill heralds the gathering of abundance. The time has come to reap the rewards of back-breaking work, and the air hums with a profound sense of interconnectedness. The laughter of children, the clink of tools, and the soft murmur of conversation weave a rich tapestry across the fields, heralding the promise of a bountiful future. In preparation for the shared feast, hands work tirelessly in harmony, transforming humble ingredients into celebratory banquets. Fires crackle with warmth, pots bubble with stews infused with both tradition and newfound ingredients, a culinary legacy infused with elements of the land itself, game birds roasted to perfection, and root vegetables imbued with native herbs. The table groans beneath the bounty, spanning generations and narratives. The pilgrims gather, inviting the land's first inhabitants to partake, seeking not only to share food but to foster an understanding nurtured through union. The symbolism extends beyond mere nourishment. It is an opportunity for gestures of peace and gratitude, shared beneath the canopy of stars. A reminder that the heavens remain constant, even as the earth shifts underfoot. In moments of remembrance, time slows, allowing for reflection. The journey has been fraught with hurdles, yet each obstacle has nurtured a resilience unparalleled, binding everyone closer to the land and to one another. Historians will long argue interpretations of these early feasts, whether they were diplomatic overtures, survival necessity, or merely prosaic expressions of culture. But, sitting here in the glow of the celebration, perspectives blur, bridging otherwise insurmountable distances. Across the tables, shared stories flow like the rivers alongside which our lives have taken root. By flickering firelight, laughter transcends language once more, and the collective appreciation of life and destiny becomes the common tongue, an unspoken but deeply understood dialect. The first harvest feast becomes a time of reckoning and reconciliation, a blending of past, present, and future. Traditions carried from distant shores intermingle with native customs, evolving into something uniquely theirs, a hybrid festival of gratitude, marking both triumph and trials surmounted through unity. Gifts are exchanged, not just of sustenance, but of understanding and trust, planting seeds of goodwill that may flourish with time. In these moments of focus and festivity, you appreciate that it is not merely the fruits of labour being celebrated, but the forging of a newfound identity within this land. Here, amid the dance of flame and shadow, the ideas of freedom, cooperation, and shared dreams forge the marrow of this new society, each individual cherished amidst the mosaic of collective achievement. The celebration ebbs and flows with the night, winding down in echoes of songs and whispered dreams. The chill of night wraps those gathered, casting a comforting embrace around hearts laid bare by earnest communion. Together, beneath the venerable umbrella of stars infinitely patient and unchanging, the community apprehends the profound truth of the human journey, charted both on the earth and among the heavens. And so, with the closing of the first harvest, your focus turns forward once more. The embers of the feast glow softly in the dark, a beacon illuminating paths yet to unfold, promising chapters untold. This land, bastion of toil and wonder, nurtures more than life. It holds the future, silently sowed amid dreams shared and lives intertwined, an eternal field of hope awaiting to burgeon across time. As the echoes of the harvest celebration fade into memory, the land stands transformed by your endeavours and dreams. It becomes clear that this new world, with its challenges and triumphs, has not only shaped the contours of your existence, but also the legacy you will leave behind. These moments have carved grooves into the trail of history, a testament to human endurance, adaptability, and the unyielding quest for freedom. Gathered amidst the growing settlement, you reflect upon the legacy being forged in soil and spirit. What stories will echo across time from these shores? What lessons will future generations glean from your choices, hopes, and endeavours? You ponder the significance of this burgeoning community, built upon the principles of unity, perseverance, and cooperation, a beacon for those who dare to dream beyond boundaries. Throughout this journey, there have been countless challenges, moments of doubt, and times when the horizon seemed unreachable. Yet with every obstacle faced and overcome, every alliance formed and each dream realized, you have rewritten the narrative of what is possible. It serves as a reminder that the founding of a new society is as much about forging connections as it is about building structures, intertwining human stories with the land that sustains them. As you walk through this community, now bustling with activity and promise, you see evidence of this legacy in every corner. Children play in fields once barren, imbued with a hope that sprouts through each footstep they take. Gardens flourish with the nourishment of shared labour and the bounty of diverse knowledge brought together from many shores. The promise of the land is woven into daily life, a tapestry formed with each passing season, each decision made, each bond strengthened. The ideals of tolerance and mutual respect, birthed out of necessity and nurtured through understanding, now form the bedrock upon which this society stands. It is a living testament to the resilience of humanity and the richness of diversity. Historians still argue over the far-reaching implications of this period, whether your collective goals shape the world more than the shadows of discord that occasionally loomed. Yet, in this moment, amidst the tangible progression and unfolding narratives, the legacy is clear. It is a testament to the human spirit, enduring and evolving, capable of great change and profound revelations. As the sun sets on another chapter of this journey and you prepare for the challenges and joys yet to come, you carry forward a sense of fulfillment. The land, once an unyielding frontier, has embraced your presence and adapted to your touch. Just as you've adapted to it, you have become a part of this ever-evolving story, a living link between past and future, bound by the rhythmic tides of hope and humanity. Your story, though unique, is but a thread in the vast tapestry of time. Its colours, once vivid with immediacy, now mature into the subdued tones of legacy. Embedded in this fabric are the echoes of voices, yours and those who journeyed with you, whispering to those yet to come. As this narrative twilight settles around you, offering solace and perspective, you realize that no one journey defines the whole. Rather, it is the mosaic of countless endeavors that truly shapes the unfolding saga of existence, an eternal testament to the ideas and ideals forged amidst challenges unforeseen and triumphs unanticipated. The New World is no longer just a place. It is a testament to endurance, the embodiment of shared hope, and the promise of what lies ahead. And as you continue forth, step by step, dream by dream, you forge your path into this story, one that repeats across the borders of time and cultures, where each horizon met reflects back the endless potential that marks human life. For as long as new horizons await, stories like yours will continue, tales of dreams realized and new worlds embraced. Each ending merely branches into another beginning, reminding you as you stand at the confluence of past and future, that the heart of exploration lies not solely in the discovery of new lands, but within the boundless potential carried by the determination to see beyond today, eyes set resolutely upon tomorrow. Greater than, greater than, greater than. End of script. Sweet dreams.